Y'all know what that is. This is another great day. I'm John Henry, Executive Director of Both Sides of the Conversation. Today is a very, very important day because it's Educational Thursday. The weather is all over the place, but y'all know every Thursday we are here to intentionally bring knowledge, information, bring the sauce to the community. Today we have a phenomenal presenter that is coming today to uplift community, give some great information as we continue to uplift our community, bring all of the things that we need to be better and to grow and rise together. So I'm happy if this is your first time tuning in. Maybe this is your first time. I know we on LinkedIn. A lot of folks haven't seen us on LinkedIn. We're just moving around to all of our social media platforms. Make sure that this Educational Thursday gets out to the community is very, very important. The folks who come here and present to give us a lot of game, a lot of information that sometimes our communities don't get. So we are excited. If you are watching us, you can use the live chat function on YouTube, Facebook. If you would like to ask the presenter any questions, or you have any questions for us, or if you just want to comment, give any shots out, you can do that in the comments as well as we continue to do the work and bring the information and resources to community. With that being said, there's a lot going on. I don't know, Mark, my energy is a little down. The weather is kind of muggy. The time didn't change. I don't know. I'm not all the way adjusted, but I'm trying to move things forward and uplift, get my energy going. I don't know what it's going to take, but tonight I'm sure this information will get me pumped up and excited. Sister Io is not here tonight. Want to let community know there's programming changing, that she's doing some other adventures to impact the females and the women of our community. So a lot of these Thursdays, y'all won't see Sister Io here, but she will be here on Tuesdays and Sundays to help be a part of our Sundays conversations. I know this Sunday we won't have a Sunday conversation. Now we're getting ready to honor Easter Sunday and all this stuff that folks have going on. Good Friday's coming up and things of that nature. So we won't have a Sunday conversation, but we'll be kicking off in April. So pay attention, community. We'll be putting out the topics in the conversations so that you can be a part of those conversations. With that being said, the voice is here. Brother Mark, how you doing, King? Talk to the people.
Well, Bishop, first of all, let me just say I'm grateful to be here. As always, love the community, love what we're able to do here. And honestly, I'm excited. We don't often have an opportunity to have somebody who's actually inside of the structure, inside of the system, who's really contending for the community and willing to share us information from the inside. And tonight's presenter is absolutely qualified. Again, just kind of reading over our bio, it's so impressive. I'm looking forward to the information going out because, again, this is what we're here to do, is make sure that the community has the right information. So excited for another Educational Thursday, brother, and glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Knowledge is power, okay? No matter how you get knowledge, it is power. I'm looking forward to adding some more tools into the tool basket, okay? But there is change happening. A lot of things going on, again, to all of the community folks. The Bayview Collaborative, we are working. You guys check your emails. There'll be something coming out in the next couple of days as we are getting ready to do a pre-meeting to start getting ready for the Bayview Collaborative. As well as today, if you all seen on social media, we put out our scholarship to all of our parents, grandparents, folks who are in charge of young people. If you have any seniors that are graduating out of high school, going to college, please make sure you check out our website, our newsletter. Our scholarship has went out for community. So if you have a high school graduate or someone in the community that you know is trying to go to college, make sure you send them the information so that they can apply for the scholarship. So we're looking forward to that. We got an amazing couple events coming up over the next couple of months. We're going to be working on our next community homeless feed, as well as putting together a day at the races with our young people. Some phenomenal stuff coming up. So we are excited. We are moving through this election cycle and year. There's more and more things coming. A lot of changes happening, but we have to be ready to be a part of it, community. It's going to take the community voice, the community action to make change. Don't pass up. Make sure your voices is heard this year. So with that being said, We're going to get through some of the news and the announcements so everybody know what's going on. We don't want nobody walking around tomorrow, I didn't know this was going on, okay? We're going to let you know what's going on. And thank you all for being patient as we get through the news and announcement. With that being said, we just talked about the weather. There's another thunderstorm that's coming into the Bay Area over this weekend. It's going to bring some impacted rain, also winds. So community get ready over this weekend. Make sure you have all the things that you need. If you take medication, make sure you have backup power supplies. Make sure that you have the things that you need. Check on your loved ones. And just make sure that you're ready, as there's some small chances of flooding in certain areas and things of that nature. Again, we've had a lot of rainfall this year. I'm excited to know that this is another year we won't be in a drought. It was killing us a few years ago being in a drought. So we just happy that the rain is coming. I know it's springtime. Everybody's on spring break and folks is ready for the sun and put their shorts and dresses on. But be patient, community. Flip-flops got a couple more weeks before we bring them out the closet. We just excited about that. But be safe out there. Drive slow. Be careful, as a lot of the roads are getting impacted by these rainstorms. We've had a lot of potholes. A lot of things happen from this rain. So while you're out there driving, be mindful, be safe, watch your speed, especially around the schools in our community and seniors. Please make sure you're aware of your speeds and things of that nature, as sometimes visibility can be hard during the heavy rains and things of that nature. Also, in Massachusetts, general doctors who perform historic pig kidney transplant shares the patient journey. The General Hospital in Massachusetts transplanted a pig's kidney into a human patient for the first time in history. Wow, a pig. I don't know, community. Do I want to have a oink oink in me? I don't know. But I guess for this patient, it works. The doctors saying this is breakthrough. As you know, research is always going on in this country. The procedure involved a genetically modified pig's kidney, which showed excellent function after transplant, and the patient is expected to be discharged soon and feeling well. So that is amazing. Again, it's Women's History Month. A lot of things are still happening. History is being made. But shout out to the Massachusetts General Hospital. Okay, if you could take a pig and make an organ work, I mean, that's some amazing stuff. So excited to hear it as we continue to go into research. There's a lot of stem cell stuff going on. So it's good to see some of this efforts and the money that we spend on research and actually advancing and helping folks in community. Also, after Proposition 1 passed, Newsom says strike team ready to put out programs. California voted and passed Proposition 1, allocating $6.4 billion to build treatment beds and housing for those with mental health issues. The measure passing with just 50% above the votes, addressing some of those issues. This proposition, I know some folks say controversial, but again, community, we are in a crisis. When we talk about mental health in this country post-pandemic, the level of mental health impact on communities have been tremendous. So to see this proposition pass to help impact communities is going to be something great for community folks. All of the housing issues that we are dealing with across the state of California and beyond, it's just great to see some money allocated to come fight some of this. Is this the answer of all? No, it's not, but it's a great way to kick things off, to start to make change. We need it. As we know, mental health is a challenge in our community. We must continue to highlight it and keep the magnifying glass on those issues that impact our community. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the voice so he can get through all the community events. Community, pay attention. All my brothers. Yeah, I know it's a budget crisis out here. Check out these events. There's some stuff that don't cost you anything. You can take a date out on. Check out and see what's going on. Get connected with the community. Brother Mark, take over the events, King.
You got it, Bishop. Let's go ahead and get to some of these events so we can know what's going on in the community. Our first event we have is an opportunity to attend a reception with Mayor London Breed on Thursday, March 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come out and support the re-election of San Francisco Mayor London Breed, and you can also visit the link for details on how you can contribute. And also participate in Spotlight on the Arts by California Lawyers for the Arts for Multidisciplinary Arts Training. Open to ages 14 to 17 in San Francisco. The priority is for low-income youth. Apply by April 1st. Also apply for the Mr. Q 2024 College Scholarship in remembrance of a life well lived. Scholarships are for high school and college students who are interested in public health or related fields. Deadline is March 31st. See the details below on how to apply. And join us for April No Fools Poetry open mic on April 2nd from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at 4800 3rd Street in San Francisco, featuring Jemai Speaks, Ram the Poet, Gerard, Lady Ra, and hosted by Big Mouth Productions, LSO. They're asking for a $20 donation. And River of Life Church is accepting signups for River of Code Spring Session 2024 on Mondays and Wednesdays until April 3rd from 4:30 p.m. at the River of Life Church, where you can learn computer skills, coding, building, and engineering. See the phone number below for more information. And join YCD Bridging the Gap and Bay Area Desperados for WAGA 19, the War Against Gun Activity 19-year anniversary on April 13th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Bayview Opera House. All ages are welcome for live entertainment and food. And apply for Bayview Legacy Foundation scholarships and stipends are available. Apply from March 15th through April the 29th. Details are at the link below. And mark your calendar for Hip Hop TV's first annual Fashion and Art Gala 2024, honoring Chantel Herden on April 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. All proceeds will benefit Chantel's children. More details are to come. And gain financial aid with Suu Kyi USA Scholars for High School Grads and Undergrads, selected on the basis of their financial need, academic achievement, and community involvement. For more information, apply at the link below. And join the Neighborhood Emergency Response Team for full training from March 26th through May 1st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the San Francisco Fire Department Division of Training. To get your ticket, go to Eventbrite. And attend Estate Planning 101 with Hera, second Thursdays monthly from February 8th all the way through June 13th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Booker T. Washington Community Service Center. Registration is required. See the information below. And Opportunities for All offers career exploration and workforce development for San Francisco youth and young adults ages 13 to 24 living or studying in San Francisco. To get more information, visit the link below to apply. And the 2024 Summer Opportunities Program and Camps for K through 8 kids, over 160 options for learning, engagement, safety, and health. Get ready for fall school. For more information, see the link below. And the Dreamkeeper Initiative announces Kids Summer Camp at Prince Hall Computer Learning Center for grades kindergarten through 8th. There is free admission starting June 10th, going through August 2nd. For more information, see the phone number below. And DCYF Youth Opportunities, ages 14 to 24. Come out and explore the opportunities for Youth Portal for summer jobs, internships, and more in San Francisco. For ages 14 to 17, watch for paid summer job openings in March. And SOA City is Mine Tech and Sports Camp from April 2nd through November 26th. Be at various times and locations for ages 7 to 16. To get more details, see the link below. And APRI is hiring a Community Innovation Lab site manager. For details on how to apply, see the link on the screen. And Kids in the City presents Hair 101 Workshop, Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Chase Center. Youth ages 7 to 17 come out and learn about unique hair. Supplies will be provided. Registration information is below. And join the SECC at Hungry Cafe from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for co-working, eatery, and social space with delicious bites and local coffee at the Southeast Community Center. And SFOEWD and Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center offer business support services for small business entrepreneurs in Bayview and Fillmore. For more information, see the phone number and the link below. And Minding Our Black-Owned Business Initiative by BWOPA Tile honors Black women entrepreneurs. To nominate a favorite Black woman-owned business, see the link below. And Dreamkeeper Initiative's Senior Home Repair Program offers up to $50,000 forgivable loan to low to moderate income senior and or disabled homeowners in distressed San Francisco neighborhoods. For more information on the programs, see the link below. And the SF Human Rights Commission holds regular bi-monthly meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in the San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can attend in person or via Zoom. And Fathers to Founders child support clinics are every Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 232 6th Street in San Francisco. You can get guidance on child support debt, license holds, custody, and visitation rights. For more information, call the phone number on your screen for an appointment. And Dreamkeeper Initiative's Down Payment Assistance Loan Program offers up to $500,000 for down payment assistance and up to $30,000 for closing costs. They can connect you with housing counselors, lenders, and realtors. For more information on these programs, see the link below. And Walters Wellness Group hosts SIP, Paint, and Center every first, third, and fifth Friday. Come unwind, set the tone for your weekend. Fueled by tea, creativity, and grounding, and hosted by Dr. Kathia Walters and team. For more information, see the link below. And come out and join Fathers to Founders for Fatherhood Reimagined Therapy Group every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Food is provided. Info and RSVP details are below. And APRI hosts youth workshops. There'll be job referrals, resume building, skills, internships, networking, and community service hours. For more details, see the phone number and information below. And Fillmore's Friday Night Market every Friday from 4 to 9 p.m. on O'Farrell Street between Fillmore and Steiner, where there is live music, food, vendors, dominoes, prizes, and fun. Vendor booths are still available. For more information, see the link below. And the ongoing vaccination site offers the COVID-19 booster and monkeypox antiviral pill treatment. See times and locations below. And the community living room offers free breakfast and grab-and-go lunch Monday through Friday at City of Hope Cafe. For more information, see the link and details below. And the SF Office of Financial Empowerment offers free confidential one-on-one smart money coaching, financial guidance in English and Spanish, available to anyone living or working in San Francisco. For more information, see the phone number and the link below. And be a mentor with SFUSD's Mentoring for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor district-wide. Make an impact. See the link below to sign up. And would you like to promote your business, nonprofit, or community impact? Then sign up for our Hidden Gem Show, or come and share your expertise on an Educational Thursday, or be a panelist on one of our Sunday conversations. And both sides of the conversation welcomes volunteers to join our mission to uplift and support the community. Come make a positive impact. Become a volunteer today. Email hr@bsotc.org. And also, both sides of the conversation invites your support for our podcast and community engagement. Please take the time, explore any of our donation links because your generous contributions will greatly aid us in enhancing our programming. And we would like to take this time to acknowledge the Dreamkeeper Initiative and all of its support for both sides of the conversation's programming in San Francisco's diverse Black communities. To learn more about the Dreamkeeper Initiative, see the link below. And also, want to remind you this upcoming Sunday, I do not believe we will be having a Sunday conversation. So that will do it for the announcements, Bishop.
Oh, we got to the end of it. We made it, community. Be patient. We got through all of it. Thank you, Brother Mark. Got to let Mark go ahead and wet his whistle because he's been going through it. But we will not have a Sunday conversation this Sunday due to the Easter weekend, Good Friday, and all that good stuff. We want to let everybody take a little time. You know, that relationship conversation was kind of overwhelming for some folks. So we need to take a few days to calm down and get back into some of our more important conversations. So we're looking forward to that. We will have Hidden Gem show coming up for you. So just be patient, community, as we continue to do the things that we need to do. Well, while you all been waiting, I know y'all like, hurry up, get to this phenomenal queen. All right. With that being said, Brother Mark, give this sister her proper due and let the community know who she is, what she's doing, so we can bring her up.
Absolutely. Again, the words eminently qualified come to mind. Miss Ashley Lindsay is a dynamic city planner at the forefront of land use development and community engagement at the San Francisco Planning Department. With a diverse background in both the private and public sectors, Ashley's expertise spans land use compliance, infrastructure development, and community engagement. She graduated with dual degrees in civil engineering and urban studies, as well as a master's in urban and regional planning from the University of California, Irvine. And she also brings a comprehensive perspective to her work while ensuring successful project execution. So with no further ado, community, let us introduce to some and present to others, Miss Ashley Lindsay.
Good evening, Miss Ashley.
Good evening, John. How are you doing?
Doing good. Happy to have you here. We know you're a smart cookie. I got some good questions for you. So
All right.
looking forward to your presentation tonight. But go ahead and just, if you want to elaborate a little bit to the community before you get into your presentation, go right ahead.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Mark, for that introduction. Really appreciate it. Just to provide some context, I've been with the planning department just under 8 years now. I've been focusing on development review. And about a year ago, I volunteered to join the SF survey team. They're within our preservation team, and they are working on this project called SF Survey. It's a multi-year effort to identify and document places of historical, architectural, and cultural significance. And we really just wanted to approach community engagement from a new perspective. And so with that being said, I wanted to focus and highlight one of our projects called the African American Citywide Historic Context Statement. And I'm just really excited and honored to be on the show today and kind of get the word out to the community about it. So thanks again.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to hearing more. You can go ahead and pull up your presentation and start walking community through what's going on.
Okay, great. Let me just bear with me. I'm going to pull up the presentation.
Take your time.
And let's see. Can you see everything?
Yep.
All right. So, okay. Good evening. Thanks again for having me here. I'm excited to share some insights into the African American Citywide Historic Context Statement and its recent adoption process. All right. It's not letting me navigate. Let's see if we can get to the next slide. So that's not working for me. Should we go ahead and
Let me see. Let me try it again. Go ahead and try to do it again. See if you can move it. No, it's not letting you do it. We'll pull it up for you. Just tell
all
us
right.
next slide. We'll get it up there.
Awesome. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
So we on slide 2 where it has your name at the planning department. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So again, I'm with the San Francisco Planning Department, and I work on various projects like land use development and engagement for the Cultural Resources Survey. Um, Next slide. So today I'll cover the African American Citywide Historic Context Statement, our approach to racial and social equity, our key project milestones, community partnerships, and the adoption process. Next slide. So first we'll cover the African American Historic Context Statement. Next slide. So historic context statements is one of the preservation tools that our department works on. They provide an analytical framework for identifying and evaluating resources in the city. It explains how geography, history, and culture shape a community's development over time. And they guide us in recognizing the importance of certain properties and their characteristics. Next slide. The African American Citywide Historic Context Statement delves into the rich history of San Francisco's African American community from Mexican and Spanish colonial periods to the present day. While it's not exhaustive, it does focus on key events, individuals, and areas critical to understanding the built environment. The African American Historic Context Statement will aid community history advocates and city planners in the identification, documentation, recognition, and protection of buildings and sites associated with the social and cultural heritage of San Francisco's African American community. This is a living document and it will evolve as we learn more. Next slide. So, next, I will talk about our racial and social equity approach. Next slide. So, just traditionally, historic preservation efforts have primarily focused on tangible cultural resources, for example, buildings and physical sites. But this narrow focus has often resulted in assessments of significance driven by experts and mandated by regulations which have inadvertently excluded voices from diverse communities, including American Indian, Black, and other people of color, from the decision making process. It's crucial to acknowledge that without the active involvement of communities, the interpretation of what is considered valuable and worthy of protection remains skewed and incomplete. In 2020, the San Francisco Historic Preservation Commission and the Planning Department adopted resolutions to center preservation planning efforts on principles of racial and social equity. This commitment entails exploring innovative approaches to incorporate new ways of honoring and sustaining cultural heritage. Additionally, it involves expanding participation, building capacity, and fostering partnerships to ensure that communities have the necessary resources and agency to guide and lead the preservation of their historic resources and cultural heritage. Next slide. Knowing that we needed to center racial and social equity, one of our goals was to expand engagement with underrepresented communities and cultivate vibrant partnerships. We also sought to be inclusive through collaborative processes and aim to forge deeper connections through living tools. Next slide. Thank you. So, as we were looking to integrate community led engagement in preservation, we thought this would allow evaluations to be informed by community members who have the lived experiences. Community can offer invaluable insights into historical significance and cultural heritage, which can enrich our understanding and it ensures a more inclusive preservation process. With this shift in our approach, our projects evolution reflects a transition from data focused to community led that supports co creation with communities. Next slide. Next, I'll cover the project's history and our recent outreach efforts. So in 2013, the planning department embarked on a significant journey with the initiation of the African American Citywide Historic Context Statement, thanks to support from the Historic Preservation Fund Committee. This project is a testament to the collaborative efforts of community members, historians, organizations, professionals, and the city staff. Drawing from existing African American scholarship, including the invaluable work of Dr. Albert Broussard, Sue Bailey Thurman, and Delilah Beasley, an assistant advisory group was formed comprising of community historians, activists, and planning professionals. Together, they worked to guide the completion of the draft, and in January 2016, we reached a milestone with the publication of the draft report. This was written by Tim Kelly Consulting, Verplank Historic Consulting, Alfred Williams Consultancy, and Planning Department staff. Subsequently, in May 2016, the Historic Preservation Commission held a public hearing to gather feedback. Public input highlighted the need for additional research and a more comprehensive document. So, responding to this feedback, preservation staff collaborated with the San Francisco African American Historical and Cultural Society to conduct further community outreach, planning, and revisions. Although major revisions to the context statement were completed in 2019, we faced delays with community engagement due to the pandemic. Next slide. So in 2022, the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with preservation staff, spearheaded a series of focus groups. I believe there were 4 group meetings held, and these sessions aimed to introduce the context statement back into the community, and they delved into potential landmarks identified in the report and uncovered additional significant places across the city. Next slide. So from fall 2023 to winter 2024, we hosted a series of community events to familiarize community with the context statement. And our goal was really just to connect with community members, get their feedback to help us identify any information gaps, gather input on how they want significant places to be recognized and celebrated. And we can go into that a little bit more in the next few slides. Next slide. So next I'll highlight our community partnerships. Next slide. So first, I just want to acknowledge all the contributors who played a role in shaping the historic context statement. As you've seen from the key milestones, this document is almost 11 years in the making. Um, and so when it comes to community engagement, it's been a journey of managing city agency relationships, nurturing community partnerships, and trying to create a space for meaningful input. And I think over the last year, we've really been able to develop living tools that help inform decision making within our regulatory framework. Next slide. So, as I mentioned, in September 2023, we partnered with the San Francisco African American Arts and Cultural District and the Dr. George W. Davis Senior Center to host a community forum. This partnership was built on trust and understanding community needs. And our goal was to gather feedback on the context statement while also supporting just local community programming. So just thanks, big shout out to the staff at George W. Davis Senior Center. They really helped with the planning and the preparation, and it really felt like the event was a success. And it really provided a space for meaningful conversations. So after that first event, we analyzed all of the information that we received, we synthesized it, and that provided us a solid foundation to understand what themes were coming out from community, which areas they wanted us to focus on, and we would continue to go back in the community with this feedback. Next slide. Um, and then on January 20th, we had the opportunity to table at the Ingleside Branch Library during their annual open house. This was a really great day where we got to connect with families, um, elders in the community, and the youth. And I want to say about over 70 folks were there and participated. We put together a little quiz, and so you would see the youth kind of working with their parents, trying to, recognize, test their knowledge of who they know in San Francisco of African American history. Next slide. And then we held a second community forum in partnership with the Booker T. Washington Community Service Center. This forum was designed to be engaging, and it featured opening remarks, musical entertainment, and then we also provided boards and divided them up into stations to help foster conversations between staff and participants. During the forum, we also presented the revised context statement, and we shared feedback gathered from the first community forum at the Dr. George W. Davis Senior Center. So this provided an opportunity for additional community input and ongoing dialogue. Next slide. So based off of those conversations from the focus groups, the community forums, we've been able to identify over 40 properties associated with African American history that may be eligible for local landmark designation. Here on this slide are a sample of just some of those sites. Next slide. From both community forums, we utilize boards, maps, different graphics, key information to showcase sites and different events from history. And then we invited the community to add, recognize, and prioritize the items identified for further research and designation. Again, each station covered major themes in the context statement, including arts and culture, community leaders, and potential landmarks. And then participants provided their feedback. And for the landmarks, we offered maps identifying designated and eligible landmarks, enabling real time input on what should be considered eligible for a designation. So this approach kind of puts, the power in community's hands to inform us at the planning department as to which landmarks should take priority for designation. Next slide. The feedback we received really was, incredibly invaluable. After thorough analysis, we identified key themes and areas of focus, which are now documented in a community input tracking report. During these events, we asked community members for their suggestions on potential partners to explore these areas further. And their suggestions were diverse, ranging from individual community members to churches, businesses, social service organizations, and city agencies. Next slide. So, as I mentioned, we've developed this community input tracking report from this effort, and we're starting to call it the Community Input Dashboard. So, essentially, it encapsulates themes that surface through our analysis of community input. These themes highlight gaps in information regarding people, organizations, and community events that are recommended for inclusion in the context statement. Our department's response approaches are outlined in the report, including plans for further community consultation, recognition opportunities, and estimated timelines for completion. To provide clarity on how feedback will be addressed, we can just go through an example. So on the first row, you see gaps under named leaders and figures not included in the context statement. As a short-term goal, updates to educators, health workers, and religious leaders have been identified to expand existing themes in the report. This information was provided by community members and raised at each community event. So we anticipate completing updates to this particular theme over the next year. Next slide. So next we can talk about adoption and next steps. So again, after several rounds of revisions of to the context statement, building community partnerships, and hosting engagement activities. Uh, I'm thrilled to announce on behalf of the Planning Department that the Historic Preservation Commission unanimously adopted the African American Citywide Historic Context Statement as a living document just this past February. And I want to emphasize that this document would not have reached the point of adoption by the commission if it weren't for community's input and just being able to take the time to provide partnership and guide us through this work. So that's just really, it's just been a great effort so far. Next slide. Um, As I mentioned through the dashboard, we have incorporated recommendations from the community and identified areas for updates in the context statement. These updates include expanding the history and significance of landmarks such as Third Baptist Church, Bethel AME Church, and First AME Zion Church. We're also addressing missing biographies of church leaders and their contributions to community housing, civil rights, and social programs. Additionally, we're adding biographies of African American professionals, artists, educators, civil rights activists, and community leaders. Next slide. In future updates, we're focusing on profiling important civil rights and civic organizations, highlighting the significance of community and recreation centers, and acknowledging the impact of leadership and staff at these neighborhood institutions. We'll also provide additional details on longstanding businesses and community institutions. The revised report will feature a foreword by Carl Williams from the San Francisco African American Historical and Cultural Society, and it will expand histories of African American churches, community advocates, leaders, and educators. And then we'll also discuss influential civic organizations, including sororities and fraternities, as well as professional organizations. Next slide. In our ongoing updates to the draft, we'll delve deeper into civil rights history and present day anti displacement efforts led by African Americans. And moreover, we recognize the need to acknowledge the impact and legacy of redevelopment, as well as celebrate and uplift significant community members and places that were lost. Moving forward, we will continue to strengthen existing partnerships and build new relationships with community members and organizations. Next slide. So before I close, I just want to extend my gratitude to Frances McMillan. She was the lead preservation planner who took on the project about a few years ago. Malik Looper for really helping us bridge connections with community. Taylor Booker, Rich Sucre, Erica Uribe, the SF survey team, and contributors and community partners. Again, with their dedication and contributions, it's really helped bring us to this point of adoption. And with that, I'd like to conclude. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that. That was very good. Very good stuff right there. I love that. Man, I got like 1,000 questions to ask. But I think to start this off, I have to ask an important question. Because I think, it's exciting for me, just thinking about where we going in San Francisco to even have community at the table. When you talked about it, it's so hard for city departments to really engage with community. So to see some of the folks in the different city departments and just you being here, connecting with community through our platform is in a positive direction. It's been a challenge over the years when it comes to preservation of spaces, some of the acknowledgments in the community when it comes to redevelopment and developing communities. Sometimes the Latin and African American spaces get forgotten about. And, a lot of times we're not even at the table when these decisions are being made. So just want to say thank you. And thank you to all of the amazing folks that you have in your PowerPoint that help spearhead that, because we know it takes the village to really keep the village, and to see the Human Rights Commission, Booker T. Washington, I.T. Bookman, George Davis, and all of the amazing organization folks, come together to make this pressing issues. When we talk about bringing equity to the community, this is how it starts. And definitely we want to continue to foster these type of relationships and continue to build out for the next generation of young people. Because typically what happened is a lot of the folks who are involved in these movements or in these initiatives, as they, get up in age, a lot of times we don't have that handoff, that proper handoff to the community to keep the work moving forward. So just honored and happy to have you here as a face representing our community as well, because it takes all of us, and we want to make sure that our young people are equipped with the knowledge, the tools, the understanding of these processes, so that we can keep equity. And shout out to my guy Malik. I know he's big on equity, making sure that folks understand the importance of acknowledging and also honoring Black folks in the city of San Francisco, and just making sure that our voices is heard. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, you was going over the list of all of the places that may potentially become historic. I guess, is it historic landmarks or just things of that nature? How do a building or a space can actually qualify to be part of that landmark, or how do you get that as a part of that space or that building?
That's a really great question, John. There are a few ways to do that. So you could do it at the federal level, you could do it at the state level, then the city, we have local programs for that. I can't really speak exactly to the federal or like the national processes, but we do have staff who work on those types of projects and can. I'm happy to connect folks with those staff if they have questions about that. But at the local level, we do have local programming to designate specific sites. There is an application. You file that with the planning department. We'll conduct research, speak with either the property owners, people in the area, take photos of the site, and also look at the architecture of the structure. Were there any significant events that might have happened there? And that all goes into this analysis to help determine whether a property is determined to be a historic landmark or not. Um, yeah, does that answer the
Yeah,
question?
no, that definitely does. I mean, that's pretty cool to know. Definitely, I would like to connect with some of your other colleagues to maybe do a presentation on what does that process look like, because a lot of times we have these remedies and things that we could do, but sometimes in our community we don't get the walkthrough process. Like, well, this is what you can do, this is what you
Hmm.
can't do, and sometimes we get left off. In the planning department, and I don't know, we got urban development, different things happening. How much influence you all have when it comes to how we reimagine what neighborhoods or communities look like? How much of that input is from you, or do the developers and the consultants get the majority of it? Community gets some buy-in? Like, what does that look like from a planning department and community? Because a lot of times for community, what time we're asked to the table, the decisions have already been made. The blueprints and the permits are already starting. So how do that process work, or how can I say this? How do we improve that process where community gets a little bit more upfront? Because I just know times where it was just like you go to somewhere and it's just like a blueprint of what the structure is going to be. And I'm like, hey, I didn't even know about it. And I know it's a challenge when we talk about community engagement, getting folks connected and just trying to make sure all of the community hubs get that information. But what does that look like from a planning department? And then, how do we intentionally get the community on the front end of some of the thought process or ideals before it actually hits the community?
Yeah, it's a really important consideration when you're thinking about project development. And then how do you also make sure that community has a voice or can kind of influence what development is being proposed? Planning is just one of many stakeholders in that process. Sometimes planning is not always the initial stakeholder in that process. Some things to take into account, there's economic considerations. There are private development agreements that are created. So, and there's real estate involved, and a lot of times that all occurs prior to a project even being presented to the planning department. Um, And then sometimes we have projects that come in, and because of local, state law, there are projects that come to us that we just have to process that is essentially called ministerial, administrative. It doesn't require a public hearing. It doesn't have to, community engagement is not required. And sometimes those types of projects, it is tough to kind of get community input on it. When we do receive projects that come in that need to go through some type of public hearing process, we really do encourage project sponsors to engage with the community prior to even filing a project with us. Um, and we want to make sure that the community is aware so that they can provide input as to what type of use is going to be there, but we also have to work within our planning code and our zoning code regulations. A lot of things are already legislated for us. So we are trying to take a project and make sure that it's meeting the rules essentially, and it's in compliance with our land use rules. So we can influence it from that way. We now have a lot of cultural districts set up throughout the city, and they need to be informed of projects that are coming up if a project is proposed within their geographic boundary. So we're trying to find ways to insert more community input throughout our planning code review process. Um, it doesn't always work out perfectly, but I think we're aware that community needs to be engaged, and when we have the opportunity to, we encourage developers and project sponsors to make sure that they're reaching out to community and sharing what they are deciding to potentially develop.
Miss Lindsay, again, thank you, because this information is critical. Because one of the challenges I know, particularly in our community, is engagement. Because quite honestly, a lot of people feel like even if we do voice our opinion, like Bishop was alluding to a little earlier, the decisions are already being made, and they're just trying to figure a polite way to kind of shove it down our throat so we don't say anything or have any real influence. So from a layman's perspective, again, you're from the community. Your representation is absolutely important, and I don't think there's anybody more qualified to make the connection. If we were having a conversation, say in the barber shop or at the barbecue with family about engagement, where were you advise the community to really start looking first before the decisions are made so that they can have a sense of their engagement actually being worthwhile in the process?
I think a great place to start off is, just going online, checking out the SF planning webpage. There's a lot of great information there that explains how we do our work. We are regulatory. We explain how we enforce the code. We talk about how we approach long range planning. So, creating plans that kind of help guide the development of different neighborhoods throughout the city. And then another website I recommend, it's called SF Property Information Map. And you can type in any address in the city and you can see what types of permits, what types of projects are being proposed. It is a planning website, but it also has links to the Department of Building Inspections. So you can kind of see what projects are happening in real time throughout the city if you want to kind of be in the know about development.
I think that's very, I think that's very important. One of the things um, that I would like to see, more of as well is you all having that connection with some of the stuff, like you said, some of the projects, not all, but when gentrification happened in San Francisco, it really impacted the Black and Latin community, especially in D10 and Bayview, Fillmore, even some of the OMI, and a lot of downtown in the Tenderloin. Um, you know, the reason why I say it's important to get community involved, because when we talk about the richness of our cultures and some of the buildings and facilities and addressing things for the community and trying to keep that somewhat foundation of this is our community, um, you know, when they plan and develop in these communities, it's more not in sync with the community. It's more in the gentrified model, right? So it's like in Bayview, you look at the parks and stuff, and as they developed and changed the community, the football fields went away, the baseball fields went away, there's soccer fields. But if you come from a black community, their basketball, baseball, some of the sports that our kids are going to do, right? You look at how things change with bike lanes and some of the design of the roadworks have changed. That's really not always in line with the community. I think over time, folks appreciate it. Different folks get involved with some of the different activities. I'm just talking about from the recreation standpoint. Having those changes that really impact the folks in the community. Say, well, we don't have this, and it's always great to have more opportunities for different uh, resources and stores and things come to the community. But when we look at those historical parts, the investment, right? Because a lot of times when these community dwellings get labeled as landmark, right? It's a stipulation of like what you can do and can't do, right? Like the face of the building is historic, so you can't get right that. So then that's challenges on how we remodel and redevelop and reimagine the space. And sometimes that impacts funding, folks being able to do it because they're like, hey, we can't touch the front of this because of the mural or what it represents. So what's the workaround with that and how we can find ways to meet that common goal? Because I know that's a challenge.
Yeah, you raise a really great point. Sometimes people they get a little hesitant when you hear historic resources that's gonna prohibit me from making modifications to my property the way I want to. And I will say that generally, um, for properties that are historic resources, there do tend to be sometimes more strict requirements as to what you can do on the facade, what types of materials you can use on your property, and that is true. Um, but there are other local, state, and federal preservation incentive programs that are provided. Sometimes you might uh, there are different agencies throughout the cities that might provide loan assistance to help you make modifications to your property. Um, or if you want to rehabilitate it, you can get different tax incentives for that. So it kind of just depends on your property and what kind of project or program you want to use, but it kind of varies. There are a few local ones, there are some that are at the state and federal level, but they are really meant to kind of encourage folks to, if you want to landmark your property, it's a way to help support you kind of maintaining and rehabilitating your property over time.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Go ahead, Mark.
Um, I kind of want to get a little bit more specific about your personal experience and some of the challenges. I know they want to have more community engagement and give the people a sense of empowerment that their voice actually means something. So, in your role, how do you balance your experience with um, engineering and urban dynamics in our historical context? Because like there's a lot of apathy in our community, quite honestly. There's a lot of distrust in the quote unquote the system. So when you're trying to bridge that gap and get more engagement and make it more significant, like what are some of the challenges that you face, particularly in your role?
It's a big question mark. um, so let's see. Yeah, I think I've kind of have like a breadth of experience in like different fields. So it's allowed me to kind of see things from a bird's eye view. And I kind of like to see how all the different parts kind of talk to each other and how can you kind of create a synergy between the different moving parts. Um, and it takes time. It's like trying to put a puzzle together. You're trying to build a Lego set or something. But in my role as a planner, I kind of see myself as being the conduit, or I'm just kind of like the middleman. Like I have a certain level of technical expertise to be able to navigate our planning code, our local policies and procedures. But I think it's my role to be able to help community understand how can they utilize our tools and our programs to the best of their advantage. Um, I feel like it's our role as planners to communicate information to the public. We don't have all the answers, but I think we need to share the resources that are out there. Um, and with community engagement, I don't think it's something where, we don't want to have empty promises, but I think it's our role to at least make sure that community is heard. And in my role, I think it's important to at least document that information and make sure that it's getting to the right people, to the right agencies, the right groups who might have the resources to address community concerns. And what I really love about the SF survey team and the way that we've been evolving over this past year is we're trying to develop tools and document it in an intentional way that it is accurately reflecting what community is saying. We may not have the expertise, we may not have all the funding right away, but if we can at least document that, share that with the bodies that have oversight over our work, like the planning department and the historic preservation commission, I feel like it provides them the full picture as to what community is asking for, and it's our job to convey that to them so that they can help ensure that they are influencing our work plan or making sure that we're getting the appropriate funding that we need to advance community driven concerns and needs. So that is what I kind of see my role as a planner being like. And then in terms of challenges, again, sometimes we don't always have control over funding and the contracting process that can be tricky to navigate. Um, and that's really been an experience for me over this past year to learn about. And so I'm learning a lot about that. And I think it takes a lot of patience. You have to be very strategic about it. And so it's really exciting to kind of put in the work for that to help build out those strategies over time. And then the other challenges, I think because of all the harm that, planning and other agencies have created for, African Americans in San Francisco and other people of color, it takes time to build trust, to reconnect, to build trust, and to understand where community is at and meeting community at their level. And a lot of times on the regulatory side, we're all about routine, timelines, moving things forward by a certain date. And when you're dealing with community engagement, you kind of have to move at the pace of community, making sure that they have the capacity. How can we step in to support them where they need? And so, even though that's a challenge, I also see that as an opportunity for us as the planning department to step in and kind of do our job as planners.
Thank you, because I'll be quite honest, your honesty and transparency is refreshing, and I think that is a huge step forward for the community, is having representation that's willing to be honest about the challenges. And thank you for that. And the next question, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be hogging up all the time, but
We
if
gotta blow up the
somebody
spot, Mark. Blow up the spot.
no,
Mark, gotta
hey,
blow the spot up.
no, for sure. But again, in your role, if somebody in the community wanted to be able to support or engage in a way that you could see measurable progress to where your role would be more successful, what would that look like?
Honestly, just reach out to us. Happy to share my email at the end of the presentation, or it should be running at the bottom of the screen. Um, Email us at sfsurvey@sfgov.org. We are constantly monitoring that email. Um, any input that we get, we discuss it as a team. We share that back with our leadership. Our team is really eager to advocate from what we're hearing from community, and we're trying to figure out like how we're a very small team, but we're, small but mighty, and we want to be able to pull the resources that we can get together. So if we just want to email us, we're happy to have a chat with you. Just, just give us a call. We're happy to chat.
Now I'm not gonna let you get out of here with the politician. Clear, I gotta blow it up. I wanted you to be like, you gotta make me the boss. Put me in charge. No,
Yeah.
but I got a couple things before we let you go. I know it's a long evening, but I'm still working with a number of community organizations, and sometimes I'm even saddened to know, things that I'm learning about the community I grew up in. 44 years in Bayview, and through the arts and culture district, I just found out that there's 9 districts in San Francisco. I didn't even know that. But with that being said, those things being labeled as culture districts, how does that impact community development and growth, right? Because if you have this culture district, there's these historical things. How does that either hurt a community from thriving and moving forward, or is the planning still going, or is that something where they like, oh, we got to watch out because of this? And then lastly, when we talk about community, and I'm glad you brought that up because we know in San Francisco the communities are gentrifying, they're changing. So when you talk about planning and urban development for Black and Brown community, right? And I want to be a partner. See, I'm coming with the solution. Both sides of the conversation, Ashley, we want to partner with you to help get the information out so we can get Black folks, brown folks to these meetings to be a part of it. But how do we, keep that sacred, honest, this is community versus people who've come to the community, their voices are louder? Because I still get folks from the community like, we didn't know nothing about this meeting, we didn't really know what this was about, and then other folks who's connected because other folks have different networks and access. And that's why what we do here is so important to make sure our community, Black and Brown community folks, get the information, get the knowledge. And tonight what you present is really helping folks get to the planning website, check out what's going on in your community, be a part of the process. So if there's something you don't want in your community, like, things are happening, cannabis clubs and different things, you can say, hey, we don't want this over here, or whatever. We want to be able to get a part of this seat with that. But yeah, with community engagement, that's a big piece of what you do. How with you being in the role and working with the folks you're working with the Human Rights Commission, different folks, like how intentional is it to make sure, like, hey, we want to make sure Black and Brown folks get to be a part of that process, and how are you guys moving forward, continuing to be intentional to make sure the representation of community is actually in those spaces?
That's yeah, that's really important. Um, so again, I'm one of a small team within a larger division, which is a part of a larger department. And we also have, so we have the current planning division, we have environmental planning division, um, and then we also have the community equity division, and uh, that formed after the resolutions were adopted in 2020. Um, and I'm really proud of that division and the staff there because their mission is they have a lot of senior community development specialists within that division, and they have liaisons to each cultural district. And within certain geographic areas of the city, like the Fillmore, the Mission, the Bayview. And so we do have dedicated staff in our department who are active within community, going to different community business organization meetings, different nonprofits, kind of being in community to stay abreast of what's going on. And they want to make sure that they're documenting and hearing from community what are community priorities. If there's an opportunity for community to give input on a potential development that's coming up, we've got that going on. Our Tenderloin team, they've got the Tenderloin Community Action Plan, and they're working with community organizations, addressing, street safety, making sure the youth have access to programs to keep them safe. Um, and so I think, by working with the staff at the planning department, just making sure if you stay in connection with them and you're sharing your concerns, we have staff that, it's their mission to kind of advocate on behalf of community. So I think the cultural districts are really beneficial. They're still kind of young but I think there's an opportunity for them to kind of highlight what are community concerns and kind of make sure that there are events that are really being put on for community. And so I think the cultural district we've seen that as a positive effect to our work. And it allows us to kind of we're not doing the work in silo. We're making sure that we're reaching out to the cultural districts, getting their input, who are supposed to be representing on behalf of the community. So um, I think it's been nothing but positive on our end.
Man, that's what's up. Make sure you add both sides of the conversation to that list. We are in community. We want to make sure that we help you guys get all these information out, flyers to the community as well. And I appreciate you saying that, because we do have so many people in community at times working in silos. Everybody has their own agenda, and we really, given the low percentage of representation that we have, really finding a way to really work together, really utilizing all of the community network to make sure that these resources and information gets out to the people. And we want to make sure that we do our part to make sure whatever planning means are things that you all need support from the community, that we show up in numbers and we have that information to get out to folks so that they can make that a point to be there. So I'm just excited to hear you doing that. Go ahead, Mark. I see you coming off your mic.
I promise I just have one more question, because again, we do want to respect your time. But for the sake of the community, from your perspective, one of the first things you mentioned in your presentation was the economics and how they influence the decisions that are made. So from a high level perspective, can you kind of give the community an overview understanding of the relationship of where the money comes from and how that is impacting them and what they can do to influence that for their benefit?
I I think in my role, it's I can speak from it from my perspective from a high level. I think, there when it comes to economics, you got private ownership of things, so we don't really have control of private ownership and how people decide to manage their properties. But then there is also a lot of publicly owned sites by the city. So I think if community wants to get involved, they should contact, the Office of Economic Workforce Development, as well as the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, because there are a lot of programs set up. Like we have a lot of affordable housing programs set up through the city. So I think if folks are curious about, the economic intricacies of the city, starting off with the Office of Economic Workforce Development would be good.
Wow, great information. I'm glad you said it like that. Me, I'd be like, it's above my pay grade, Mark. I don't want to hear about it. But no, we appreciate your transparency. And again, we really appreciate you being here, because this is like re-energizing me, because there's so many people that reach out to our organization for different things, and they tap in for all of our announcements and resources. And we want to definitely make sure that the planning is on top of the list, especially right now with all of the budget cuts, things happening in the city. There's going to be a lot of changes, right? We want to make sure that community at least gets their voice and their input on it. And then definitely we would like to work with you all just to have somebody come and talk about the policy. Like, how do we get these resolutions passed, right? Like, how do we as community say, hey, even though it's not there, how do we come together, go to our supervisors and go to the mayor to get these things, in place? Because our community needs a lot right now, especially with these dynamic changes that's happening with the economic issues that are coming in front of us. So we want to definitely make sure that we are part of it. But with that being said, I want to give you an opportunity before you leave to give any shots out to anybody in your department, family, whatever. And then if there's any parting words that you want to express to the community that they walk away with tonight, please go ahead and do that now, so that we can let you get back to your lovely day. And we really appreciate you coming here, though.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mark. No, this has been fabulous. I know I gave a few shout outs at the end of the presentation. Again, just want to give a big shout out to my colleagues on the SF survey team and kind of allowing me to join the effort, and my family, because they're so flexible with me and just letting me, be a part of this podcast tonight. So, yeah, and thank you, John and Mark, for allowing me to be on the show. Angelique, who reached out, this was really exciting to be a part of, and I really enjoyed my time being on the show this evening.
Man, we really appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you. We're glad you're here. We're going to do our part to stay connected. I'll have Angelique and the team reach out to you. Again, we want to make sure that we're doing our part to help make sure that the engagement happens with the community. You know, we have a lot of connections in the different districts that represent Black and Brown communities. We want to make sure that that information gets out, not only through our newsletter, but through our social media and through our podcast. So we really appreciate you. And thank you again to you, your family, for letting you come tonight. I know it's late, but we appreciate you getting this information to the community. This was great. I hope the community is excited and have a little bit better understanding of what's going on. And community, we can always follow back up and reach out. Her information is on there. If you got other questions or anything you want to ask, reach out to the email address that you see above. And I hope you respond, okay? That's one thing. Follow up is everything. Make sure that you reach out to the people when they reach out to you.
Certainly will get a lot of emails every day. We're supposed to respond within 48 hours, so I do my best. But yeah, if not within 48 hours, I usually get back to people before the week. So phone call, email, either of those work. But yeah, I look forward to staying connected and hope we can do this again soon.
I think I'm gonna have to adopt that rule. No, I can't do it. I got too many emails. I got like 20,000 emails. I'm sorry, I'm not getting back to you people in 48 hours. But no, that's a good policy that you all have. And again, appreciate you for being here. And we'll be connecting and figure out any other things that we could further do, or if you have any events, things that you want community to show up to, send those flyers and information over to our events at bsotc.org, and we'll get them out there in the community. So with that being said, thank you graciously for being here tonight. And we're looking forward to connecting with you in the future. And again, if anything we can do to help, we're looking forward to helping you.
That sounds great. Thank you. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Mark. It was great to be here.
All right. Have a good evening.
Take care.
All right, community, there you have it tonight. You got some good information. I don't know. Maybe we need to put some more historic landmarks across San Francisco. I got some buildings that I don't want torn down. I got some spaces that I don't want them to remove. I don't know, Mark. Maybe I can blow up a few buildings. I don't know. We got some work to do. But again, community, we're going to keep doing our part to intentionally make sure that you all get connected with these type of folks who are coming in, presenting that information to the community. We all have to do our part to be a part of the process as our communities continue to change in San Francisco. We want to respect the historic stuff. We want to be innovative in the growth of community for all of the changes, but we want to be at the table. And it's very important, not only during this election season, but through all the seasons of the year. Community, let's do our part to be involved with the process, find out what's going on so that we can not only enjoy our communities, but also say we were a part of the journey. We were a part of the change. We are the change makers. We will uplift the voices of the people and continue to change the narrative. When we talk about the stories, the people, the things that impact our community, it's folks like the planning department that is a part of that process that really make change and the dynamics for our community. So with that being said, the voice, Brother Mark, you here today. What you thought about the presentation? Talk to the community, brother.
I'll be honest, Bishop. I'm experiencing a certain type of pride that is cultural, but also very personal. As a father who's raised 3 daughters, as I'm watching Miss Lindsay present and knowing the credentials that she has, she's again eminently qualified, but the representation, it feels good to see our people in position, sharing the information and the knowledge in a very strategic way and authentically. And I'm just hoping that one of the things that we can really grasp in the community is there are different roles. There are different people at different levels doing different things, and everybody is needed. Everybody's important. So when you see a Black girl doing her magic somewhere in the system, find a way to support, find a way to encourage, find a way to continue to highlight these examples. Because again, there's so many negative portrayals about our people that when you see somebody who's in the process doing it, I just want to really highlight that. So man, I was impressed tonight.
Man, you know what, Mark? I'm gonna just blow up the spot on that because I'm gonna say this. I don't even want to agree with the Black girl magic no more. Sometimes when I hear the Black girl magic, I think it's like fantasy. right? It's like, magic is something that's like, it's not real. And I'm saying, I don't want to say magic anymore. I just want to say black girls rock, black girls get it done, black women get it done. Because the magic part is kind of like, it is magical how they maneuver and do the things they do, but it's this part of unrealness tied to magic, right? And I don't want that for our queens of the community. So I want to say, black women, you rock. You're phenomenal. You're doing amazing, especially during this Women's History Month. Continue to do the things that you do. And even the queen of this platform, she's out blessing the young ladies, doing some things to impact others. And we want to uplift Sister Io for the work that she's doing, and not only represent community, but just represent change. When we talk about changing the narrative, uplifting new things, new ideals, these young women, these young families, these young people are being impacted by phenomenal women in the community. So we want to thank all of the amazing women that's doing amazing work for community. On Thursdays, Sister Io won't be here. On Tuesdays and Sunday, you'll see her community. She's still here doing the work, but she's blessing people. We're steady growing, doing things, making impact. And we're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing. You'll be seeing me and Brother Mark. We're looking for some other co-hosts out there. If that is you, you have a personality, you got a voice, you think you got what it takes, come join us. We need some folks to come on and be a part of this. We're looking for some co-hosts to help out for some of these other shows. Come on, be a part of what's going on, be a part of the change, and we are excited to hear about that. With that being said, community, we still want to hear from you. I don't know what's going on. I saw a few people take the survey, then it kind of dropped off. We're giving away some money, community. Go take the survey and check out what's going on. Give us your feedback. Tell us what's going on. I'm not going to tell you how much money we're giving away, but we're giving away some money to some folks because everything we do is for the community, and there's no way we could drive the organization, the platform forward without hearing from the community. We want to know what you would like to see better, more of, less of, whatever it is. Take the survey. We're listening to the community. Y'all know here at both sides of the conversation, we listen to the people. Whatever the people tell us that they want to do, we always try to push that way, because that's what we do it for. We do it for you. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. Somebody will get blessed. I ain't gonna tell you, because if I go out there, Mark, and say, Mark, we giving away $1,000. Oh, they gonna be all of them. We have 5 million surveys. I don't want to do. I want the authentic people that really want to see things change and different, and want to see opportunities for the organization. So, community, take the survey. We'll be announcing the winner soon. Don't miss out, because if I say it's $1,000, everybody, you didn't tell. I'm giving you an opportunity to go fill out the survey. Check out our social media handles. A lot of the things that's going on. There's a lot of work happening. I know it's been a slow progression over these last couple of weeks. Let me tell you, that bowling event drained me out. Okay, I'm still trying to get up and get moving. So many things going on in my work life, personal life. I've been a little held back, community. I'm still here. Okay, I'm uplifting the people, still doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, working on a lot of policy stuff with some folks, trying to make change, trying to make impact. So sometimes you might not see me, but best believe the bishop is still up, working, grinding for the people, making sure that the community is impacted all the time. So, with that being said, I guess I can pull up the spot with the benediction now. Mark, there you go. Before we get out of here, hey, community, tonight you've been blessed. When we talk about the value of the historic landmarks, when we talk about the culture, when we talk about the things that identify and makes a community, it all starts with a plan. There's a plan that takes place before the community is even developed. Sometimes the development of community changes and the people don't. And sometimes the people change and the community don't. We have an opportunity tonight. Miss Lindsay came here. She gave you information. She let you know what's going on. She gave you the sauce. Sometimes our community, we don't get the sauce. We don't get the information. We don't even know how to connect. Tonight, you got a connection. That was a perfect leeway to how we collaborate, how we uplift. How do the intersections meet? Tonight, the intersection's connected. All you have to do is figure out which side of the street you're going to cross to get involved. We need the voice of the community. We need the people to come, be a part of the process, be a part of the change. When it's an opportunity to speak up, we need you to speak up. We need more people like Lindsay, more people like you that could get to the table, identify what's going on in our community so that we can make sure that the right changes are there for us. When we talk about the planning department, when we talk about the process of building, It needs everybody's voice. We need all people at the table to make these decisions so that we get the right things for our community, even with the community changing, even with the economic crisis, even with the policy change. We still need to be a part of that process. It's going to take us all. We will work together. You heard Miss Lindsay say, not working in silos. No, we're working together. We're building up the community. We even trying to bring the Bayview Collaborative so that we can here all together, walk on code, as Mark said, together. We will continue to do that. We will be the shining light of the community. We will be the ignition to the fire. We will be the bridge that connect the young, the old, the community at both sides of the conversation, y'all. We're trying to change the narrative. We're doing something new. We're leading the wave. Follow us now. We're headed to the promised land. With that being said, yeah, thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been great. It's been real. Tonight, you have been educated. You might have not learned anything today, but you did learn today. There's 9 culture districts. There's some Black folks at the planning department. There's some people that's trying to bring equity to the community. I don't know about y'all. I feel valued. I feel like there's hope. I feel like there's an opportunity. Now, let's work together, see where we can push it to make sure that we continue to grow our community in a capacity that really impacts and reflects us, so that we can change the narrative, and the power is within the people. With that being said, this Sunday, community, don't turn on. We won't be on this weekend. Get out there. Go hunt some eggs. I don't know what you're going to do. Go to dinner. Get dressed up. I don't know. Good Friday. I don't know. Have a good time. Be safe. Enjoy the family. We won't be on. March Madness is happening. Things is going to be happening all weekend with March Madness. Enjoy some of the games. I don't know. Kick your feet up. You have to deal with the Bishop to this Sunday, okay? And then we'll be back this Tuesday for another segment of our Hidden Gem Show. Y'all know every Tuesday we're here at 7 o'clock. Please go to our YouTube channel, okay? And subscribe, like, turn on the alert notification, find out what's going on, see some of the community events, see some of our previous shows, get connected with us. Check us out on all of our social media handles at Both Sides of the Conversation. Check out our newsletter. A lot of important information going on there. You get to hear from the bishop. All right. It's a lot happening. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Continue to be great. I know there's challenges that we're facing in our community. I know there's a lot of negativity in our community. It is our job to come together as adults, as community leaders, as people. Let's uplift each other. Let's change the vibration. We could be the ones that change the room. When we walk in there, how the room goes. I just think this is our time to shine together, to show solidarity in these economic times, in these political changes, in this uncertainty, the fear of the unknown. Community, let's join hands together. We can do this together. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep working together. I'm looking for a way to connect with you, where we'll bridge the gap between community and our leaders. We'll do it here at Both Sides of the Conversation as we continue to change the narrative. With that being said, ladies, cotton candy got now. Look, it's over. The relationship show is over. It's time for some new conversations we'll be talking about in the month of April. Please check out our newsletter. Check out our information on our social media handles. We'll be giving you the topics for the month of April. We would like to hear you. There's a lot of things going on in April. Phenomenal month. And we just want to make sure that everybody in the community feels a part of what's going on. So with that being said, if you don't see me now, you'll see me soon. A community event near you, or you'll see me stepping through the community, uplifting the people. I'll see y'all all soon. With that being said, I'm blowing up the spot, Mark. Good night now, community.